Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor, and today we are here with the tech tier list of September 2023. The last time or not tier list, but the top 10. The last time that I made a top 10 was January of 2022, so it has been 20 months. So it was due time to make a top 10, and much like other classes, I had to completely redo a lot of this. A lot of it. So, let's just get started. The only champion that actually stays in the honorable mentions that was in the honorable mentions last time, because most of the other classes, all those champions got bumped out of the honorable mentions due to new champions coming in or champions getting buffed. But the one that I thought should stay in there is Penny Parker. And Penny Parker is pretty underrated as an offensive champion in the game. If you time the SP1 right and then you time your SP2, you can do a lot of damage in just those two specials. She is very good, and if you have her awakened even at Sig 1, she bypasses Nick Fury's second life with it, and some other stuff as well. But very cool, unique champion that has very good damage output. So yeah, Penny Parker, number 13 or third honorable mention. Second honorable mention champ I do not have, and that is Vision. So I wanted to just say both Visions for this spot. It doesn't really matter, but if I had to pick one, Age of Ultron is the superior Vision. But yeah, I don't have either. Solid power control champion, not the best in the game, pretty close to the best in the game. Vision is just very good with decent immunities, despite doing definitely subpar damage, and also relying on power control to do damage. Like, his specials literally do 0 damage if you're against a champion that is immune to power control. Like, that is a requirement for his specials to do damage. So yeah, let's get into the last spot on the honorable mentions. A champion that, when they came out, was originally higher on most people's lists. Mine as well, I'll admit. But I think the hype has definitely settled down a lot, and people are getting more realistic about this champion's use. Infamous Iron Man. He is good. He's just not great. He's missing a few things to be worthy of a top 10 spot, in my opinion. So let's get into the top 10 with a champion that has been in the game for a long time and whose use and value has never gone down. This champion is still incredible, and that's Guardian. He has good, very good damage output, and for Battlegrounds, he is commonly indexed as a rank 4 or a rank 5 for defensive purposes. I don't use him personally because he's only rank 3, and I don't want to invest 132 SIGs into him to take him up to rank 4 when I could just take up someone else who I think is a better option. But Guardian is very good. Also, his synergy with himself, that gives the whole team a ton of block proficiency in questing, is very valuable as well. So he'll often just be on the team as an extra slot to make your team more sustainable. And also, he has a synergy that gives any champion in the game perfect block for their first 3 hits, which is really sweet. And let's get into the next spot, number 9 on this list, a champion I love personally, and a champion who was higher on my last list I made, but I didn't post it. I just kind of updated the top 10 a little bit for myself, maybe a year ago or so. Nebula. Nebula has very good damage output, and when my deck was mostly rank 3s, she was in there, because even if it was not to counter robots, she can take fights down in 45-50 seconds with how crazy her shocks are. I've used her in war a bunch of times to take down robots, and she is just incredible with her ability to just completely shut off their ability accuracy, turning off nodes like Hazard Shift and stuff like that. Nebula, very good champion. Number 9. Number 8, this is another champion that fell a lot. This champion was 3rd the last time I made my list. 3rd. And that is going to be Nebula. Or not Nebula. Ultron. Ultron, where's my Ultron? Here he is. He's low sig. He does benefit a lot from high sig because it allows him to take DOT fights such as Incinerate and Shock, which at max sig he almost completely stops the duration. I don't know exactly what it gets to, but it's really close. It's 80% at max sig. He reduces the duration by 80%. So he can be a viable option for Section 1 and Section 2 Hazard Shift because he's already immune to poison, and he gains that resistance to Incinerate for Section 1, and for Section 2, he's already immune to bleed, and he gains that resistance or duration lowering for Incinerate, or for Shock. And the only downside is that because he's a robot, you do not benefit from willpower, but he has very solid damage as well, and he also heals a lot of energy damage that is inflicted upon him. And he also has power gain that happens from that. So let's get back into the list. Ultron also has guaranteed crits. He has incredible DOT. Like I said, amazing regen. And he was bugged for a while, and he was better than he should have been. But we're not counting that. This is normal Ultron. So for number 6 and 7, I knew which 2 champions would be here, but I kind of kept going back and forth because I was just not sure. It's at number 7, it is going to be Omega Sentinel. Omega Sentinel is obviously one of the most used Alliance War attackers currently when she is not banned. She is incredible with the attack tactic, which completely stops the defense tactic, and also you just kind of abuse it. She is my most used attacker this season. I believe she has the number 1 highest attack rating in the entire game, which is really nice because she's also super tanky with incredible block proficiency and has some of the strongest DOT in the game that you can make pretty much infinite as long as you pause it with a light ending combo or a heavy attack every, 6-7 seconds, something like that. But yeah, that's number 7, and we will get into number 6, a champion who is pretty much almost the same use in the game, and that is going to be a champ I don't have as a 6-star, but I do have as a 7-star. That's Shuri. Shuri is one of the best attackers for this season, and if I had the tier 6 tech catalyst, I would take her to rank 2 immediately. I just can't. But she is killing it at rank 1. She is in my Battlegrounds deck. She has such good damage, and she was really not appreciated that well until she was buffed, or rather tuned up. But the tune-up was amazing, and Shuri is now a very, very solid champion. So that is number 6, and we'll get into number 5, a champion that you probably don't expect to be in this top 10. A champion that I love so much and that I am much higher on than most people. I have as a 6-star and a 7-star, but I'll just show this 6-star because he's awakened. It's Mysterio. Dude, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. Mysterio, with his synergy with Penny, makes him a top 10 champion in the game. Now, I do have to take a little bit away from him because of obviously this is not in his base kit, and you do need the Penny synergy with him to make him a monster. But he is crazy with that synergy because his poisons are insanely potent. And the drawback to that is that you have to do your medium ending combos or have your gas fill up, your chemical gas, before you can get that damage back again. And the penny synergy just makes heavy attacks not consume gas. So you can just parry heavy, and you can do literally tens of thousands of damage per second. It's crazy the damage you can do. But yeah, Mysterio, if we were rating all champions fully synergized in the whole game, he would be top 10. But I'm putting him at number 5 for tech because I do think he's amazing. I have brought him to Alliance War before. I constantly use him in questing, although now it's more often that I use my 7-star, which I was very happy to pull. I love Mysterio, and he's amazing. But yeah, number 5, Mysterio. Very, very good champion that is up on a lot. So let's go to the next one, number 4, a very new champion that I love so much, AntMan. AntMan is just so good. Future AntMan. He has the ability to make his opponent super aggressive, so you never have to worry about them just holding on to a bar of power for 3 seconds at a time like you sometimes have to with AI. It also, this is Surgeon Swarm I'm talking about, by the way, and it also makes it almost guaranteed for intercepts to land because it makes it like basically as aggressive as Oscillate here, which is very aggressive. And very silly damage. He has multiple cycles you can use for short fights or longer fights, and amazing as a battleground offensive champion and defensive champion. He has a decent health pool as well, 60k for a rank 5, and I use mine all the time, although unfortunately he is on defense. But if he was not on defense, I'd be using him on offense and war because he is one of the best offensive champions for this attack tactic, for this meta right now. But yeah, number 4 goes to Fam, and number 3 and number 2. So everyone knows who number 1 is. I don't need to say who it is. Number 3 and number 2, I have such a hard time choosing. They do such different things, but they're both insane. They're both so good. And the 2 champions I'm talking about are Nimrod, and then if I switch over 2 champions, and Warlock. These are your number 2 and 3 champions, and I can't decide. They're both so good. Warlock does a lot more different things because they both have regeneration. I prefer Warlock's regeneration. The way that he gets it, I prefer it to the way Nimrod gets it. They're both sustainable champions, although Nimrod's more sustainable. They both have solid immunities, although Warlock has more immunities. And obviously the DOT, or the damage overall goes to Nimrod. But Warlock's so good. He is, in my opinion, overall probably better in Alliance War if you're not considering just mutant slaying. So I can't decide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the 2/3 slot go to both Nimrod and Warlock. I can't give either one the edge. They're both so good, and to me, they're equally valuable. I have them both at rank 4, although Warlock's really low sig, so he doesn't look like he's rank 4. He is. Yeah. Number 2/3, Nimrod and Warlock. I can't decide. I just can't. Yeah. If I had to give a very slight edge to one, I'd give it to Warlock. So when I make like an infographic and stuff, I'm probably going to put Warlock at 2 and Nimrod at 3. But those 2 are just equally valuable in my opinion. They're just both insane. And number 2 and number 3. Now, Warlock obviously has a better ability to control a fight by abusing willpower and just his, with tech power back boosts, you can just keep cycling those L2s and doing insane damage on your specials, and also a lot of damage on your combos to follow up the specials because he has such potent armor breaks that activate on his special too. But yeah, That's number 2 and 3, and number 1 is Ghost. Ghost is the best champ in the entire game, so it is no shock that Ghost is going to be number 1 on the tech list. Ghost is a Battlegrounds monster, an Alliance War monster, a questing monster, an Alliance Quest monster. She does everything, and I've also done several runs with her as my main champion for late rooms in incursions, and she still is crazy. There's an argument to be made the most suicide-friendly champ in the game. I would probably say she is the number 1 most suicide-friendly. But there's a debate to be had there, of course. Because unlike Kitty Pryde, she does need a synergy for her phase to prevent all incoming damage. Although, to be fair, that synergy is with Hood, one of the best mystics in the game. So you're not really taking away anything from your team by running Hood on the team. But yeah, Ghost is just still the most dominant Alliance War attacker. So far this season, she is not permabanned. She was permabanned last season, I think. Or maybe the season before. But she has been banned every war. All 8 wars. She is the only one that has been banned every war. Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and future AntMan all have been banned several times this season. But Ghost is the only one that's been banned every war. And the reason is simply that she does not care about the global. Yes, she has guaranteed crits all the time. She is going to give the defender a buttload of prowess and give them a ton of power gain. She just doesn't care, and she'll just eat infinite number of special 3s without even an invulnerability boost, and she'll take no damage. She is just that crazy, and she also is just able to abuse hazard shift to get those insanely potent passive furies that are just monstrous. And there's a lot of times that I find myself playing with Ghost in war not using power back boosts, because one special will send me to an SP3 every single time, and that actually slows the fight down, as opposed to throwing a special 2 and then abusing your phase to get more power than the defending champion to get back to another special 2. Like, she is so good, she does so much damage that it kind of makes power back boost not even a great idea sometimes on certain fights. Also, one thing I didn't even mention is she has some of the best power control for tech champions, not including the attack tactic, of course, because she is able to gain power so much faster than the defender. If you do double phases and then like a light attack, the opponent gets like an 1/8 of a bar of power and you get a third. Yeah, over a third, because 2 hits is 10% of max power. And then a light attack, you're getting over a third of a bar. You're getting almost triple the power that the defending champion is. And if this is a champion with a double medium, like a domino, like a stealthy, you can abuse that even more, because you can get a medium and then a light in. It's actually crazy. Something it's just insane. But yeah, that is going to be all for the top 10 techs. So I haven't done this for the first few classes, but I will for this. I'm just going to say the champions in order again. So from 13 all the way up to 1, my order is Penny Parker. Number 12 is both Visions. I'm just putting them together. And then Idum. And then into the top 10, Guardian, Nebula, Ultron, Omega Sentinel, Shuri, Mysterio, future AntMan, Warlock, Nimrod, and Ghost. And I'm very happy with that list. It's definitely changed a lot. Ultron has gone down quite a bit. And Nimrod, I used to have at number 4 or 5 because I thought he was a little bit overrated. I do think most people in the community think of him as better than he actually is. but I'm happy with where I have him at in that 2/3 spot. So yeah, that is all, and I will see you all in the next video. So just comment what your top 10 is and what you think about my top 10, and I'll always